And what can I
Paul,
get you for Christmas?
don't tell him what you want. He's a liar.
Let the kid talk.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
Just cool it, Zippy.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I've noticed a disturbing trend the last few years regarding feedback. It's top of mind right now because with my last video where I was sharing my opinions of Xbox, there was a lot of discussion, there was a lot of disagreement, and there were even some personal attacks sent my way, perhaps to try to discredit me.
You stink.
I think you're gonna have a good Christmas, all
You
right?
smell like beef and cheese. You don't smell like Santa.
Okay.
Oh! He's an imposter!
First, it's really nice that people were concerned about me. Thank you. But don't worry, it's cool. It's the internet. I've been online since the mid-'80s, and I've been flamed by the best of them. It takes a lot to faze me. I loved hearing your experiences with Xbox, your concerns about the future, and even your disagreement with some of the things I had to say. I don't delete your comments because I think feedback is a gift, and I don't buy into this idea that's been floating around about criticism being a bad thing, and that somehow if you criticize a game or a console, that you dislike it. And to be clear, I love the Xbox. I love the team that made the Xbox. I love the gamers that played the games. I loved all of the game developers who helped make it successful. I will always have a soft spot for Microsoft and Xbox. I'm critical of the current state because I want them to do better. I want them to be successful. In fact, I want the entire games industry to be successful. I want there to be a Nintendo and a PlayStation and Valve and Windows and Xbox. I want the entire games industry to thrive. And the only way that happens is if everyone is brave enough to discuss their ideas, their likes and their dislikes, to respectfully disagree, to share their point of view. And it's hard because in some of these companies, it's not encouraged. As Thomas Sowell once said, when you want to help people, you tell them the truth. When you want to help yourself, you tell them what they want to hear. When you're in a team that doesn't want to hear criticism, it can be very difficult. It's easier to be a seal on the sidelines, clapping at every stupid idea an executive or game director floats out. It's much harder to risk your position and potentially your job to tell them that they need a course correction. And our games are labors of love. And that just makes it harder. It makes it much harder to see them clearly. My friend Itagaki used to refer to all of his games like children. He was so passionate about his game, and my Japanese was so poor that it took me a bit to understand that he was referring to his game and not his actual child. So when I saw all of this passion and disagreement regarding my opinions about Xbox, it didn't upset me. I got excited. I was thrilled because it meant people still cared about Xbox. They care about what happens, and that's good for Xbox. It means it's not too late. They can still recover. And here's the thing, getting people to care about your product, your game in this distraction-filled world, that is a really difficult task. Go ask any indie developer out there, and they will tell you how hard it is to get people to care. Gamers have lots of choices, so the last thing you want to do is to shut down their feedback. You want to encourage it. If people are talking about your game, they care. And feedback is just an opinion. It doesn't mean you're going to implement everything they ask for. It means you're going to listen and figure out if what they're saying will make your game better or not. And if it will make the game better, then tell them. Tell them, yes, thank you, great idea. Guess what? We're going to implement it. We'd love to have you back to try it and see what you think. And what you'll often find as a game developer is that many of the ideas or suggestions are already things you planned on doing. So it's easy to agree and close the loop on those ideas too. In general, you can divide the feedback into a few buckets. There are the new ideas that you hadn't considered, that are good and they fit the vision. There are the ideas that you're already doing. And then there are those ideas that are out of scope or don't fit with what you want the game to be. And here's the thing, it is so powerful when a game developer says, I heard you, I love it, please come back and try it in the future, because now that game developer has invested fans. When you know that you're being listened to and that people care about what you have to say, you're going to keep coming back. You're going to keep giving feedback. And that's how you build a community.
My name is Johan Pilestedt. For 1.5 years, you've been fighting the enemies of democracy. And one of the requests that you've always had is for us to send more dudes. And the best way for us to be able to do that is to bring another platform into the fight. Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox. And this, of course...
So hearing all of this feedback is important even when it's difficult. Every bit of my success in my career was built entirely on listening to the feedback from my team and acting on it. It's that simple, because the people who are doing the work, the coders, the artists, the musicians, they know what's wrong, and if you can surface it and fix it, you can make the game and the team better. Team leaders need to be listening and sorting through what the team is saying and what the fans are saying, and applying it to making the team and the game better. And the truth is that sometimes people aren't the best at giving feedback. That's why it's so difficult. What offends one person doesn't offend another. Sometimes people's communication styles can be a little too direct. Sometimes people get passionate and almost borderline angry when they're talking about something they care about. It's just tough. But as a producer or leader of a team, that's your job. You have to meet the team more than halfway. It's your job to be good at listening, even when the message is delivered with passion. Let me give you an example. When I was working on Gears of War 2, they moved my team over to this new building that had these barn doors on all of the offices. And the problem with them is you could hear every single conversation going on in an office. It was incredibly distracting, and the team affectionately ended up calling our area the dog kennels. One day I get a call from one of the leads at Epic, and he's pretty upset. So he's talking fast, and I told him, look, I'm going to put you on speaker so I can capture what you're trying to say. I type much faster than I write, and when I write things down, it's easier for me to remember them. So we're going back and forth, he's yelling about things that aren't working, and eventually once he's gotten it all out, I summarized what I heard and told him I'd get back to him. At this point, I needed some water, so I hop up, open my barn door, and the hallway was full of people. It was full of really concerned people, including my boss. And I thought at first that something really terrible had happened, like someone had died. But it turned out that they were concerned about me. I told him, look, I understand he sounds really spicy, but that's just how he is when he gets passionate about a problem, and all of his feedback was valid. So don't worry, I'm good.
You've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, it's just a flesh wound.
I don't particularly like spicy phone calls, but it wasn't personal. And at the end of the day, my job was to help Epic and Xbox make a great game together. He was right on several issues, and there were things we needed to fix. And that's one of the biggest struggles for people when it comes to feedback. It means communicating with a bunch of people that don't think like you, don't react to things the way you do. It's not something that ever gets easy because there's so much variability in communication styles. Of course, there is feedback that's mean, that's personal, and it can be hard to deal with. I remember one time at Oculus, it was the day before the Thanksgiving weekend. I had family coming into town, and I was really looking forward to just relaxing and eating a big turkey dinner. I was exhausted, but I was in a really good mood going into my last meeting with one of our researchers. Well, I get into the meeting, and I'm kind of in vacation brain mode, and he was mad. He was mad because he didn't agree with one of the decisions that had been made. And when I didn't immediately confirm that he was correct, he flipped out. He started berating me and insulting me, saying I was dumb. He was just plain mean. It was quite shocking. We'd had many passionate debates, and never once had he attacked me personally. I'm pretty tough, but he was vicious, and I think because of the circumstances, it landed. And I'll admit that I lost a lot of respect for him because I didn't realize until that attack that he was one of those people, the kind that melts down and flips tables if they don't get their way. That said, I didn't allow his meltdown to impact my ability to give feedback, nor did I shut down his. I still wanted to hear what he had to say about the project. I just didn't want to hear anymore what he thought about me.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Is there someone else up there we could talk to?
As the leader of the team, it's my responsibility to meet him more than halfway, to hear feedback even when delivered poorly. And this is part of why you see so many games failing and going off the rails, because game developers aren't good at turning off that emotion, ignoring the meltdown crowd, and just listening to the feedback. They aren't mining the gold that comes from their fans, the people who are paying attention and care about their games. And sometimes it's sadly the game developers that themselves are on Team Meltdown. They're game developers that if you disagree with anything about their vision, they just don't listen to you anymore. And I understand it's hard. It's hard because when you're making a game, it's your baby.
It's funny. It's like I joke about this with the team. It's like, oh, we made a game with The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative decisions. I got us a lot of hate. A lot of people love it, but a lot of people hate that game.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
But if you can't close that feedback loop to know what your gamers are wanting, you'll eventually fail. And the decisions that you make as a game maker or as the leader at Xbox have consequences. We saw this last week when Xbox laid off several team members and canceled game contracts with third parties. That led to additional layoffs at external studios like Romero Games. My heart goes out to the people that lost their jobs and to the people that still remain and are trying to sort through the challenging environment. It will take some time for things to improve. My hope is that the strong reactions to this situation at Xbox will help them. It's clear they still have fans. People care about them and they want them to be successful. And my hope is that Xbox will hear the feedback, and no matter what direction they go, they will grow and learn from what they're seeing. Because ultimately, Xbox has a huge impact on the rest of the industry, and I want an industry that's thriving and growing.
Where it kind of broke through. It actually took a couple months for that game to develop some traction. But at that point, we were getting this kind of great feedback from our players through the mail in those days. So that took a while.